You are now listening to a 302 Birds podcast experience, proudly powered by Tick Pick, Cupet, El Diablo Burritos, Nick's Pizza, and Klondike Kate's on the heart of Main Street.
Get ready, Philly Sports Nation. Sit back and prepare for another banger episode of 302 Birds. This week, we're deep diving into the T.O. and A.J. Brown debate. You guys know I love to talk about it. Jack is definitely going to get pissed. It's closer than you think, but that's what you guys love to see. Ballpark Tommy is hanging out, taking us through the ballpark. Phillies, first team to 30 wins. How beautiful that's been. We're also going to break down the Chip Kelly era, all of that drama with the 25-10 show, everything that went along with that. And then on a more serious note, I do want to talk about Jason Kelce basically came out this week and said he pretty much has CTE, which is a pretty bold thing to say, a pretty crazy thing to say. So, like I said, it's going to be an insane show for you guys. Kicking off everything, we don't have a call in tonight. Shout out to our boy Chris. He's going to be calling in soon, but he had to get a rain check. No problem at all. But I do want to thank, as always, an awesome local brand. If you're in or around Delaware, please check out El Diablo.
What do I want when I'm in the state of Delaware? Of course, El Diablo Burritos. Customer service always is serving your food with a smile on their face, asking how your day is, but their food is phenomenal as well. Their burritos are out of this world, one of the best burritos in town. Their queso is phenomenal. Their burrito bowls are amazing as well. When you're in and around Delaware, stop by your local El Diablo Burritos and tell them that 302 Birds sent you. God bless, go Birds.
Well, thank you for that intro. El Diablo, best place to get your burrito. Since we don't have a call, we're going to go dive deep down into the schedule that just came out tonight. So starting off, as we all hate, Green Bay in Brazil. I think we're probably wearing all black uniforms for this because they hate green, apparently. That's what I heard. But I personally think that this is going to be a pretty neck and neck game. I'm going to give it like 35-25 because, I mean, these new guys, we'll see where they're going to go, how they're going to play and things like that. So it's kind of like the first game. It kind of sucks that it's our first home game and it's in Brazil. So I'm curious to see what this team can do. Dalton, Tommy, how you feeling about this game?
Take it first, Tommy.
Not feeling that hot about it. It's just NFL screwing us as usual. Oh, wasn't the London game a home game for us too that they took away? Like, why is it that they're always taking away our home games? Why can't they take away the other team's home games?
I really think it's a flip of a coin. It doesn't. It's not like fuck you, Philly. Like you have to take it home.
You.
I don't think so. I don't.
When it's Tom Salucci, it's always that when it comes to Philly sports.
I'm in real Delco tonight. I'm not in my normal location, and I'm in the real parts of Delco. So, Jack, I have a little edgier attitude to me tonight.
Oh, we're getting Delco Tommy, maybe. We had Coach Dutch last week, and we got Delco full-fledged.
So you just admitted that you're a fake Delco. Interesting.
If you live in Delco, everyone will tell you that where I'm from is fake Delco. I've never hid that fact.
That's the first time I think I've heard you say that on the show. I got to go with Jack on this one.
I've never hid that.
We'll make a shirt that says Ballpark Tommy is in quotations fake and then in quotations Delco because he's actually Delco, but it's fake Delco, as he's saying. I don't know. Tom, you act like you're Delco. I'll give that to you, buddy.
That's what everyone tells me.
You're a good. Yeah, you do act like you're from Delco, but Buccaneers week 1. I'm gonna say, or not Buccaneers. Sorry, Packers. I'm thinking about Tampa. Well, Ed. I'm pissed about the fact that it is a home game. I'm kind of with Tom. I know it's like, I see your point, Jack, that it's like, okay, both teams are going away to play like in a different time zone necessarily, go to travel Brazil. It's not the best case scenario, but the Eagles have a pretty easy schedule. I know a lot of people are upset in the comments, a lot of old heads, a lot of people, this week 5 bye sucks. And I hear your point as well. You don't want the Eagles to be gassed later in the season. Having your bye week later in the season is an advantage. I agree with that. But when you look at this schedule, man, this is a rinky-dink Mickey Mouse schedule. We're going to give you guys a breakdown of each game, but I mean, all of these teams, I think that the only team that I'm afraid of on this schedule, and I'll get to this in a few minutes, is the Ravens. So give me win. I can't give you a score or anything like that, Jack, but I'll take Eagles win. Did you give your prediction yet, Tom, on Packers?
I'll give them a win.
A win? Okay, so give me week 2, Tom. You can take it. We'll go snake around the way now. So Falcons.
Falcons, that's a win.
At home.
It doesn't matter.
Away.
It doesn't matter. It's a win. The Falcons
it's home.
blow.
It's home.
It's home. Shit.
Yeah.
Either way, Falcons blow. They're gonna win. It doesn't matter.
Jack?
I think this is gonna be a W for the Eagles. Sorry. I mean, we'll see. Who's gonna be the quarterback. Because Aaron Rodgers. Wow. Kirk Cousins come off an injury, so we'll see if he's healthy by then. They did just draft Michael Penix Jr. So I know there's a lot of hot water going on with the quarterback decision. But let me give you this: if it's Kirk Cousins, I think it's going to be a W or it's going to be a close game for us. If it's Michael Penix Jr., I think it's going to be an easy win because that's his first game or second game, or depending on when he starts, his second game in the league. So I really think it's going to be kind of a toss-up if Kirk Cousins is playing. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a kind of a close game because, I mean, the receivers that Falcons have are pretty good. Bijan Robinson, the running back's pretty good. So, and we know we struggle with run defense in the past. So we'll kind of figure out what happens.
I am actually kind of nervous about this game. Looking at all the teams on the schedule, there's like a few. This would be a game that could, I think, slip away from the Eagles because we don't know what Kirk Cousins is with the Falcons yet. And if there's a time when Kirk Cousins is good, it's before the playoffs. I do like that it's prime time. Primetime Kirk is not necessarily the best. Monday Night Football away, not in Kirk Cousins' favor. Going to Philadelphia, not in Kirk Cousins' favor once again. I will say, in a new offense, get the juices flowing. Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson. You never know. So the Eagles need to be on their A game every game because looking at the schedule, they should beat every team, like I just said. I mean, going on to the next game, the Saints. I'm taking a win here. This is a 1:00 game. This is away, New Orleans. This should be an ass whooping. If there's any game that you should win 51-7, it should be this game. Like, I think that this game, they're going to come out like a clinic and beat down the Saints. The Saints aren't the team that they were a couple years ago. So I'm taking the Eagles in that by a lot.
Everyone in the NFC South blows. So I take the Eagles by a lot. 2 straight weeks. I'm not sure what crack you two are smoking, but the Falcons blow. The Saints blow. 2 wins after. The only way I can see the Falcons even being remotely tough is that they had to go from Brazil, from Brazil to Philly in one, like the change might
that
be
too.
tough.
That's a good point, actually.
But other than that, the Falcons absolutely blow. It shouldn't be an issue. The Saints blow. Oh, looking at this whole schedule blows.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a pretty easy win for the Saints. I mean, I will say this. We'll talk about more, but if the Eagles can go at least 6-2 in the first 8 weeks, minus the bye, I think we will be set up to be successful. Because, I mean, as we see towards the end of the season, it's kind of tough. So if we get 6-2, I think we're golden. But moving on, the Buccaneers, I don't know, because we played in Tampa 2 years ago and last year, and it was the playoff game and we lost. Baker Mayfield is, playing decent ball, and we're going back to Tampa. So I think it's going to be kind of a toss-up for that game because, we don't have a good rep with the Buccaneers at all. But that's all I got to say. I think they're going to win, but it's just going to be tight.
Tom, go ahead. Take it first.
Tampa blows. Just I said it. The NFC South blows. It's going to be another easy win. And Baker, everyone, Tampa just knows how to break our hearts in the playoffs. During the
Yeah.
regular season, though, they blow. They blow. And guess what? They're going to blow some more.
Oh, took the words right out of my mouth. But I do want to say, hopefully we'll be at this game. If all goes well, that would be a lot of fun. Or maybe some of the people from 302 Birds, maybe not all of us, maybe we'll take a little trip down there because Tampa is actually a logistical game for us. 1 o'clock would be a lot of fun. And if you do travel, check out our friends at Phillies Sports Trips. They're the best to do it in the game. So go travel with them. But then we go into the bye week. That's making a lot of people upset. And I'll say this. For those who are tuned in right now, please drop a heart, a subscription, anything you can do to get more people in here right now. It would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Week 5 bye week sucks. But a lot of you guys are overreacting. Because like Tom and I have just said, this schedule sucks. There's no excuses for this team. Anybody that wants to talk about how week 5 sucks and this and that, shut up. With all due respect, shut up. I love you. I love you very much. On Sunday, I'll pat you on the back, say go Birds, but stop. Stop giving that attitude of that it's soft. There should be no excuses. I don't care if the Eagles have a bye week 2. Okay, maybe I do. But I don't care how early it is or how late it is. At some point, you just need to stop making excuses for this team and say, okay, it's time to go out there, figure it out week by week, and play football. Because I'll tell you what, having a bye week, even week 18, week 17, that's not going to necessarily make you a Super Bowl team. What's going to make you a Super Bowl team is how you play consistently throughout the regular season and do it again and again. That's football. That's what you did in 2017. That's what you guys got to do. I also did see, to give you guys a little bit of leeway who are saying that, the Eagles do have the 14th most miles traveled out of all NFL teams. So they are right in the middle of the pack, but it's like same thing. It's don't make excuses for this team because when you look at the teams that the Eagles play this year, guys, this is a Mickey Mouse schedule. These teams are not remotely good. The only teams that I'm afraid of maybe losing to, the Ravens, number 1, obviously, maybe the Cowboys once, and maybe the Bengals. Besides that, looking at every other team here, the Eagles should absolutely win by at least 10 points against all those teams. And they should not be close games on paper going into it. Not saying that's going to happen. But by week 5, you guys think it's an overreaction, underreaction?
It's fine. Like they needed it the year they won the Super Bowl anyway to kind of like almost regroup in a way. Like they had it that year they won the Super Bowl, so who really gives a shit?
Yeah.
And if football's it's supposed to be not soft, who cares? If you're not soft, who cares? But
me and Tom would be great football coaches, just saying.
But there's a bunch of softies today.
Yeah, I will say it does kind of suck, but it's not the end of the world. The advantage we have is the teams that we play or after the bye week, they're not coming off a bye week. So that's our advantage. So we'll be well rested up going into playing against the Browns. Week 6, the Browns, I think this is going to be a cakewalk. The Browns are horrible. What's his face? Watson. He hasn't been playing good football. Granted, he's been out of the league for a year and a half now until last season. So he hasn't been playing as good football as he used to. And that offense, that defense is very good. But that offense, it's going to struggle. And I think this Eagles team this year can go all the way. So I think that's going to be an easy win for us against the Browns.
Their offense is definitely going to struggle because it's really just Njoku that they have on offense. Like the running backs are aging, wide receivers are aging, and so offense isn't really there other than Njoku. But the defense is really good, as you said. So this could be a trap game, personally. But
Yeah. Wrapping it all up, home tailgate against the Browns. I think Browns fans will show up. I think the tailgate's going to get a little bit rowdy. The Eagles have more 1:00 games this year. And this is, if I'm not mistaken, yes, this is the first 1:00 home game of the year, right? So this will be the first time that fans show up in the lots at 8 a.m. and start drinking. So yes, give me Eagles win. I'm going to say like this is a 42-17 win for me. Moving along to the New York Jets away game. We're going to try to go to this one too. I was talking to KJ and Chris. I'm taking a
Giants.
win here. Sorry.
Giants.
I said Jets.
Yeah,
yes.
you did.
You know what I was saying in my head? I'm just going to say it, guys, on camera. Sorry, but
What?
Giants fans. Oh, I did it. Anyway,
Hey.
that's why I said that. But Giants away game, MetLife. Last time it was the MetLife Massacre was what we called it. That was it. Saquon Barkley's revenge game. And I like that it's away at first. I want him to go there and I want him to hear the dumb shit. And I want him to think about it. I want him to sit there and say, you know what? All these dumbass fans, half of them might know, most of them don't know. This team didn't even give me the courtesy of offering me a new deal after everything I just did for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I am about to go the fuck off. And if I'm Nick Sirianni, and if I know anything about football, minimum 25 carries this game for Saquon Barkley. I'm taking a win, 2 touchdowns for Saquon, 40-31 Eagles. I do think that the Giants will have a surprisingly good offense this year. I don't think the Giants will be a good team. I just think that they'll have a good offense. I think it'll be an exciting game.
The Giants are just like our annoying little brother at this point. Like all New York is. They don't have any facts. They just want to scream. They just want to get loud. I saw a New York Mets fan tonight just leave in disgust around the 7th inning. Like, they couldn't even fill their stadium. Like, New Yorkers are just a bunch of bandwagoners. So I'm sure they can't even fill MetLife because the Giants just suck so bad every year. You'd never see that at the Link. Even in bad years, like, we pack out the Link. That being said, good revenge game for Saquon. And he'll hear the boos. He'll hear all that bullshit. And then they'll get spanked as usual.
Yeah, the only thing I got, and this is I don't think it's gonna be an issue, but if we can make what week are we? We're week 7 now. If Saquon Barkley stays healthy, doesn't have any injuries leading up to week 7 against the Giants, I think this is gonna go off. I think he is going to be the new Giants killer. Because shout out to Boston Scott. We miss you. But he's going to be the new Giants killer, even though he's an ex-Giant. But I think he's going to at least have 2 to 3 touchdowns that game because I can just tell the grit, the grind he has, the disrespect he has gotten from Tiki Barber on social media and just taking it to MetLife and just kind of saying, fuck you guys. This is what you're missing out on. So really think this is going to be a slaughter. I think it's going to be, MetLife killing part 3 or part wherever. But yeah, it's going to be easy win. And then, moving on to the Bengals. Now this is a big question mark because if it's Joe Burrow's of past, I don't think we're going to have any issues at all. But if it's Joe Burrow who played, what the first rookie year or second year, that's going to be scary because I've heard rumors that his injury is not fully – the surgery he had was not fully 100% cured. It's like 70%. So if he's still having lingering injuries from that injury, I think we're not going to have any issues at all. But like I said, if it's the Joe Burrow of the past, rookie year and then his second year in the league, we got to watch out for sure. Yeah. Like Dennis said, Burrow 2020. If it's Burrow 2020, we got to watch out because that was good Burrow.
Tom, Bengals.
Bengals, they're a good team. That'll be a tough game. Everything Jordan said, and I have nothing more to add.
The one thing I'll say is I actually have a loss with this game, guys. This is the game I have a loss. You're going away. It's week 8. It's midway throughout the year. I think that this is going to be when the bye week maybe starts to catch up with you with it being earlier in the year. You're kind of like looking at the tunnel and the light is very far away at that point. So against the Bengals, I'm going to say loss. Moving along to the Jaguars at home. This is going to be a good game. This could be the game of the year in the NFL. So much of a storyline. Doug Peterson, Nick Sirianni, Trevor Lawrence, Jalen Hurts. The Jaguars are a young and up-and-coming team. The Eagles are more established. Doug Peterson is coming back to the team that fired him. There's going to be a lot of people fired up. Doug Peterson is going to be clapped for. I could pretty much guarantee that. If you're a fan and you boo him, what are you doing? I'm sure there'll be one or two dumbasses. You guys know
Didn't
how
he
it is.
already come back 2 seasons ago?
Yeah, he did, and it was a rain fest. It's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
was
just
at that game.
it's gonna be more at stake, though. I think this feels like a bigger game. It's in November, I believe. Last time that they played, it was in October, and also Trevor Lawrence, I think, is way more established as an NFL player. Same with Hurts. So I think that this could be my game of the year. Eagles take the W. Sunday Night Football hopefully will be there. It could be the most entertaining game of the year. I'm going to say it goes into overtime, and the Eagles take the W 38-35. Jack, you want to take it?
Yeah. Moving on to the Cowboys. Or Jack. Yeah, no, let's just move on to the Cowboys because, this is a pretty, it's in Dallas. We'll see, what team Dallas is this season. But as we all know, as Eagles fans, like it is a, split half the time. So I think at Dallas, I'm going to give the L to the Eagles because we don't have the best rep in Dallas winning games. So that's what I got to say.
Yeah. You took the words out of my mouth. Eagles take the W there. Tom, what are you thinking? Anything else you want to add?
For a team that was all in, they really didn't progress this at all this offseason. So, but yeah, moving on to the next part.
Tom's all out. How about the Commanders, Tom? Commanders come to Philadelphia on November 14th. Win?
It's absolutely. Commanders suck.
Thursday Night Football will be fun. That should be a good tailgate. Then the Eagles travel to L.A. Sunday Night Football, 8:20 against the Rams. I'm going to say that this is another great game. Eagles should take the W here. What are you guys thinking?
Absolutely. Without a doubt.
Against the
Slaughterfest.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, Jack, I want you to hone in on this game. If you guys don't know, Jack's a taken man. And this game's going to be a little bit hard for him because I'm sure you'll try to go, right? With it
As
being
a true Eagles fan,
Ravens.
it should be easy who to root for.
We'll see if he wears a fucking Ravens jersey because if he does, we might have to kill him and his face is turning red. But Eagles, Ravens, Jack, go ahead, take it first. Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, going to give us trouble?
Yeah, so like everyone said, my girlfriend is a Ravens fan, and we literally were talking about going to this game earlier today. It really, and the tickets are expensive as shit. But anyway, the Ravens are not a bad team, and Lamar Jackson it's gonna be the battle of MVP, 2-time MVP, and then runner up to MVP two seasons ago. But we'll see. I mean, I think the Ravens in the regular season play very good football. Now go to the postseason, they're like the Sixers. They're second round out. So I really think this is going to be a pissing match, as we love saying back in the day, because Derrick Henry, granted he's old, maybe it's not King Henry anymore, but we'll see. But both teams going head to head, I really think it's going to be a good game. But I think it's going to be a pissing match. It's going to be fought in the trenches on the offensive line. Lamar Jackson, we just got to make sure we keep an eye on him because, he's like a running back. So I think the Eagles will get the edge, but like I said, they will get the edge if Saquon Barkley is healthy leading up to this, late in the season. Because if not, we gotta figure something out.
Now, Tom, I'll let you predict these next two games. Panthers at home, then the Steelers at home. Spanking, you think? I think that the Steelers could be a closer game than people think. At 425, I think that Steelers fans are going to show up, too. I think it's going to be a good split game at the link for that.
Mike Tomlin's washed.
No, he's not. He hasn't went below 500 ever.
Have you seen it? Hold on. There's a good team, and then there's on paper good. Where you had the wins, you had a few decisive victories, but
come on, you can't blame Antonio Brown on Mike Tomlin.
No, I'm not. But he doesn't have the talent anymore. He likes to divide locker rooms now. Now he's one of those coaches that divides locker rooms. He's washed at this point. The Steelers were the participation got in through a participation trophy last year to the playoffs. They're not that good. They really aren't.
I think Russell Wilson's going to surprise some people there. I'll say it now.
Yeah,
I'm not excited about saying that, Tom, but I really do think. And George Pickens is a gritty player. I think it's going to be almost like DK and Russell Wilson meeting up again. I think it could go well. Nobody really had guts in the Broncos wide receiver room to go out and get it. Jerry Jeudy's a pretty mediocre guy. He's not too, wild tempered. Jack, how you feeling about the Commanders December 22nd, 3 days before Christmas, 1 o'clock?
I think, the recent times, the Commanders have given us a run for our money. We won last year with a field goal. So I think we'll get the win, but at the same time, it's not going to be an easy win. The Commanders out of the NFC East have definitely, other than us, have definitely got better than they were last season. So we'll see. But I think it's definitely going to be an Eagles win.
Yep, Eagles win. Dallas at home. I think all three of us are going to obviously agree that should be an Eagles win. I'm going to say the last game of the year could be a loss just because the Eagles at that point would already be the number 1 seed, hopefully. Realistically, wrapping this all up, and thank you guys who all joined. There was a lot of people that love this schedule breakdown. So if you guys are here and you love it, please drop a subscription for all three of us hanging out with you. But yeah, I'm going to say this could be the game for the Eagles that it's just okay, we'll lose this. And then they end up 14-3 on the season. That's my record prediction for the Eagles. You guys each want to give a quick record prediction?
14-3.
Ooh, okay. You and I on the same wavelength, Jack.
13-4.
Okay. So there you go, guys. A little bit of a differential between us. But like I said, I want to thank everybody for tuning into that segment. Moving along to our next segment, going into the ballpark. Time for Phillies talk with Ballpark Tommy. Finger stitch.
And we'd like to thank Nick's Pizza as usual for another delicious pizza sponsorship. Man, we really do like food. We got a few food sponsorships. We got El Diablo. We got Nick's Pizza. But you know who else has been cooking, Dutch?
Who's been cooking?
The Phils. 30-13, first team to 30 wins.
Well,
they've been crushing the Mets. It's the last 3 nights now. Now they crushed them again tonight. Hey, Phillies are absolutely on fire. Can't ask for more. Ranger now 8-0 on the season, and can't ask for more.
Yeah, Aaron Nola really showed up for us last night.
Yeah.
These pitchers are built for that. Gave us the reliever pitchers some rest. Went 9 innings with a shutout, and only 3 hits or 2 hits?
4.
4 hits. Okay. But yeah, no, that was huge because granted, we saw him against the Marlins. Was it the Marlins or the Blue Jays? Where he got fooled.
I think it was the Blue Jays.
So we saw him struggling there, but Aaron Nola is definitely that guy, and that was huge for us. The bats are connecting. Bryce Harper finally hit a ball tonight twice. And
Homer.
Was it a home run? Did he hit?
Yeah, he had a home run to start.
Oh, so
yeah.
did he have three or four hits tonight? Anyway,
3.
3. So it's nice to see him heating up.
Triple shy of
Castellanos.
the cycle.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Castellanos, dude, what are you doing tonight? I mean, you got a ball in play, you got it to first base, and then you decided to run to second base and you got called out. But other than that, Rojas is heating up. Bryson Stotty, so hotty. He's playing well. And I mean, it's nice to be a Phillies fan, and seeing these Phillies play to the caliber they're playing now. Rob Thompson's, lineups have been questionable, but I love it.
It works.
So
if it works, it works.
Exactly. That's all I got to worry about. That's all I care about. But yeah, love watching these Phils, get that dub. Keep on.
I've been enjoying it too. My guy, Ranger Suarez. Go for the Cy Young, brother. Go get it. I got that bet on you. I think I put down $50. It's going to pay me like $550. 500 net profit, Tom. A little bit of math for you right there. But, I mean, this team is exciting to watch right now. This team is a great vibe. And BG was down there today, and he was talking a little bit in the booth with Kruk and T-Mac, and it was good listening to him talk about the vibe for our Eagles. But connecting it back to the Phillies, I feel like the Phillies and the Eagles both have such a good vibe about them as a team right now. Like, if I'm the Flyers or the Sixers, more over the Sixers, I should be striving to get that same vibe that these teams have, because it feels like when these guys show up every day, it's not for work. It's for a common goal. And that's what I love about watching the Phillies. They get on each other. They get on themselves. They know when they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, like Bryce Harper. And then he gets his shit together and he heats back up. So it's not easy being a new parent, too. So I don't expect to see some ups and downs from Bryce Harper over the next 30 days, having a new baby, sleeping. Just because he's an MLB player, guys, doesn't mean he's above doing those things. And I don't mean it like that. I just mean Bryce Harper has such a big heart. I don't doubt that he's, trying to be as much as he can as a father as well. So it's okay if we see that right now. I expect to see a little bit of kinks, but I do like to see that he puts it all together too.
Plus, Dutch, just going off of your one point about the Sixers and Flyers, notice there's a common denominator in types of ownership. Two teams are owned by mega corporations, essentially. Fanatics and Comcast own the 2 teams, and then we have individual, essentially like small business owners, essentially owning our 2 other teams. So maybe it's a commentary on society that corporations are just shelling out crap to us anymore, and that our individuals, and Main Street America is really the way to go. Maybe it's a commentary on that, because you notice one puts out an actual good product, one puts out shit.
No, I love that you bring that up, Tom, because I think Jeffrey Lurie and John Middleton are 2 of the best owners in their leagues, respectively. I do want to thank Ballpark Tommy for joining us tonight, guys. I know he's got to dip out after this. If you guys aren't, please give him a follow on the IG. He's famous on there now. I think he broke 100 followers, just like Sippin' Sports. So they're on the come up, but give Ballpark Tommy a follow. He's working hard on his Instagram account. I see you sharing on the story, and we got a lot of graphics coming. And maybe after the games, maybe we'll start doing something like a 60 or 30-second rant that you could try to do whenever you get a second on the Instagram story or something. Maybe I'll come watch it, especially in the postseason. Oh, my God, when things start to heat up.
Maybe.
Stay tuned. But, Tom, want to thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate you.
I'll see you.
See you, bro.
bud.
Perfect. Well, I love that Tom brought up both those owners, because I think that was a perfect segue into our next topic, bringing up John Middleton and bringing up Jeffrey Lurie. Let us know in the comments, guys, what Philly sports team do you guys think is due? What team is up next? I'll start with you, Jack, obviously, because it's you and me. Who's next? Who's due?
So I'm a betting man, as you guys know that, right? And I just took yesterday the Phillies to win the World Series 14-1 odds. So I'm cheering for the Phillies. It's kind of Philly season right now, and I'm excited to see what they can do. They're playing really good baseball, and they're due. The last time they had won a pennant in the World Series was what, 08?
Mm-hmm.
So they're long overdue. And then I'll go with probably the Eagles. I think the Eagles this season, I think they can make it to the mountaintop and take that W. And then I would go Flyers, and then obviously Sixers, because Sixers just piss me off, and I hate talking about them. But yeah, I really think that this season for the Phillies especially is that World Series win, because they've had 2 to 3 seasons now together as a team, and I really think we see that now, how they're gelling well together, the baseball they're playing, the offense, the defense, things like that. So I would go with the Phillies for sure. So yeah, the Phillies. Not sure where Dalton went, but I'm assuming he would want the Phillies as well.
Sorry, I don't know what happened if I just accidentally clicked the leave button or something. Sorry about that, guys. Got no clue. You were assuming I would take the Eagles, I guess you just said. Who did you say? I'm interested.
I said Eagles.
Believe it or not, Jack, I'm going to have to agree with you, ma'am. The Phillies are built so well as a team from top to bottom. And hear me out. I don't like that baseball is 7 games, because I think it's almost an advantage to be one and done sometimes. Like, okay, we just got away with this. Almost like our Super Bowl. The Phillies are such a good team, though, that I feel like out of any team, except for maybe the Dodgers in the MLB, especially right now, they're going to win in a 7-game series if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. So it's pretty hard to not say the Philadelphia Phillies take Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper's in his prime right now. He's crushing it. So it's hard for me to not to say the Phillies. But on the flip side, if I had to take a second team, it would definitely be the Eagles. I mean, same thing. The Eagles were in a Super Bowl a couple years ago. They know what they're doing, this, that. So I'm going to actually have to say, give me our Philadelphia Eagles with a second on that. But first off, 100%, give me the Phillies. I definitely got to agree with you on that, man. I mean, it's hard not to take them.
And that was a bright thing for me to say, because I'm not a big Phillies fan. I like football. That's my sport. But yeah, definitely think they're due one. But talking about the Eagles, right? I didn't get to listen to it, Dalton. I'm not sure if you listened to it, but Shady and D-Jack talking about Chip Kelly era. And if you wanted to hit on the CTE, Jason Kelce, we can do that as well. But I didn't really get to hear what it was all about. I'm sure they kind of exposed this team, what all happened and the downfall of what happened in that era. But I will say, I mean, like Dalton said last episode, like that era with Chip Kelly kind of set us up for the Super Bowl win. So
I don't know what's going on with our branding, guys. Let me text Shard. I think he might be backstage getting ready for our Phillies post-game show, which is at 10. That's probably why it just kicked me out or something. So stay tuned for a minute, guys. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I hate to do that to you. But yeah, 25-10 show. Keep going on that, Jack. Elaborate. I mean, Chip Kelly, he really ruined. Like, as a fan, watching LeSean McCoy, watching DeSean Jackson, I believe it was our sophomore year of high school. When you got the news, what was your initial reaction? How did you feel?
The news about what?
LeSean McCoy and DeSean Jackson both being gone.
That was kind of hurt my heart, because Shady McCoy was in the early years of me being an Eagles fan, same with D-Jack. And seeing them leave was a part of me leaving as well, because they were such a versatile duo. And Shady McCoy was one of the greatest running backs in the early 2000s for this Eagles team. So seeing them get pulled from us, it hurt a lot. So definitely I like I said, I'm curious to see what this whole Shady D-Jack's podcast was about, because I'm sure, like I said, they'll expose the faults of the organization during the Chip Kelly era. But I mean, that's all I mean, that's all I have to put on that.
The one thing I'll say too is, if you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. Brandon Graham and Jason Peters both were called into the show, and they just kind of dialed them pretty laid back, like, hey, I'm hanging out right now, sitting in the chair. What do you think of Chip Kelly? Like, first words that come to your mind. And they both had pretty negative things to say. Nothing bad, but like just like betrayal, liar, like kind of like con man. And that's the vibe that everybody gets from Chip Kelly. It's funny to hear LeSean McCoy say it, because LeSean McCoy, a lot of people thought maybe would have respect for Chip Kelly because that's the guy who coached him throughout his best season, almost statistically, definitely in Philadelphia. But he did so many bad things to so many of LeSean McCoy's teammates that I can see why LeSean McCoy's like, you know what? That was me and them. That wasn't you. That had nothing to do with you. So I love it. I love that they're coming out doing it. I think it's more DeSean. Like, DeSean Jackson is more going to, I think, establish himself as a media personality, a podcaster. LeSean McCoy has been established now, but more in like I don't want to say professional aspect, because podcasting is professional, but on a media personality for sure, like being on Fox, being on these sports shows, First Take, stuff like that, guest starring, Dak is ass, things like that. So as far as, this goes, it's nice to see that Chip Kelly's finally getting what should have came to him, because LeSean McCoy, DeSean Jackson, Brandon Graham, Jason Peters, Jeremy Maclin, I think that they call it as well. All these guys just had so many negative things to say. And it's fascinating to me now. It's like, wow, you really had no control over that locker room, or you really had no inspiration whatsoever. And that kind of just made me, it opened my eyes for sure to what was going on maybe in there. Another time I had my eyes open to something was actually a couple days ago, I believe. I don't know if it was yesterday or not.
It was
But
yesterday.
Jason Kelce comes out and basically says, hey, I pretty much have CTE. Jack, I'll go ahead and let you take this first. As a former center yourself, football player, I mean, how violent is that position? And do you think that he has CTE?
Dude, being a center is one of the most violent positions on the field, because you are in the trenches. You are getting hit like a freaking freight train on the other side. With the, granted, we saw it work, in real time, the push, but they were always on the bottom. And there's some hits like that. Jason Kelce, and the thing is, I've listened to his podcast, and he had mentioned that he, used his head to hit somebody like blocking in college. So I mean, he was a very aggressive hitter. And I really think, I'm sure that he has it in some type of way, because that's one of the grittiest positions on the field. And, like, you're getting, whether you use your hands or not, you're getting hit in the head constantly. So I'm not sure, exactly if he has it, but if he's saying he has it, it's good that he noticed it. Maybe he was just saying, because I know both Jason and Travis mentioned on the podcast that they probably have CTE. So that's like kind of like a joke. But I mean, if he's really struggling in the retired life and thinking that he has CTE, it's good that he caught on to it, because we've lost a lot of legends in the NFL due to CTE, because taking their lives and things like that. So I think the center and the guards are probably, they're always hitting somebody, whether it be head to head, whether it be body to body. Like, they're getting the brunt end of the force, or end of it. So I mean, most likely does, because you can't be pardon my French, you can't be a pussy about it. You have to hit like a real man. So, I mean, hey, I'm sure he does, for sure.
That's why I wanted to bring you into it, Jack, because you played the position yourself as a former football player, former center yourself. You know how violent it can be in the trenches. I mean, you got to go up against big ass defensive tackles. You got to go up against very elusive, strong linebackers. And then you got to be able to go against sometimes even the occasional corner or safety coming up the middle with some kind of a crazy package or blitz. Jason Kelce is one of the best when it comes to centers of all time as an athlete, as a player, everything he's done right and off the field. So like you said, Jack, I mean, if it's something that he's struggling with mentally to where it's impacting him, I hope that he gets help because Jason Kelce's way too valuable of an asset to the city, to the NFL, and to the world just as a human being to be feeling this way. As far as from a physical standpoint goes, no doubt he's got it. And I didn't want to make it seem insensitive earlier when I said, oh, do you think that he has CTE? I mean more, do you guys think it's, or I should say you guy, because it's just me and Jack tonight hanging out. But do you think it's too early to tell? And I don't think it's too early to tell. I think it's one of those things where you know if you know. Jason Kelce's been around football his entire life. He's been around professionals pretty much now for a good period of his life. And moreover, he's probably had conversations with people with CTE like, hey, what are some of the early symptoms? When did you know? And I think he knows. He wouldn't be making these claims, making jokes about it, acting the way he did if it wasn't something that he had. So it kind of makes me nervous personally because we know what happened with Mike Webster. And I don't even want to, put that in the same sentence, but the former Steelers center great who actually committed suicide because his CTE was so bad. So I would never want to see that happen, not only with Jason Kelce and the parallel to the center position, but with any NFL player. I mean, if any of you guys have seen the movie Concussion with Will Smith, a great movie, never want to see that for any player. But we actually are going to pivot now into our next segment. So I guess everybody texted Jack their answers. I'm going to text them my answer in a second, but it's time for somebody's favorite part in the show. Time for everybody's favorite part of the show, 302 Trivia with your host, Jack Dalton, the mayor of Delaware.
Thank you to Tick Pick. And like I said, it is Phillies season. We just saw released at 8 o'clock tonight the Eagles schedule. Buy your tickets through Tick Pick because you will get no fees at all, just the flat fee of the ticket. Make sure you buy them. Hopefully, I think this is up to date.
Yeah, it is.
I'll go to the scoreboard. So the scoreboard, we got fans at 4. We got Matt at 4. I'm sorry, fans at 5. Matt at 4. Tommy at 6. Dalt at 3. Josh at 0. Ash at 9. And then Decker at 3. So we'll keep on adding to this. Tonight's question we have for you is a Phillies question because we're in Phillies season. The question I have for you guys is, who was the first Philadelphia Phillies player to have his number retired? Again, who was the first Philadelphia Phillies player to have his number retired? A, Steve Carlton. B, Robin Roberts. C, Mike Schmidt. Or D, Richie Ashburn. So we'll give you the answer at the end of the show. Please put in comments. Fans, if you're watching this, please put your answer in the comments, and I'll wait on Dalton's answer.
Yeah, I'm texting you mine right now after, I'm trying to get that telepathy and think about it. Fans, I can't let the fans kick my ass. Come on.
It's pretty embarrassing.
Pretty bad. Yeah, shut up, Jack.
Pretty embarrassing.
Doesn't matter. You know what should be pretty embarrassing for you, my friend? So, taking you guys back, let me paint for you guys a picture. 2 years ago, almost to the date, a wild young NFL fan named Dalton Holland, a Philly fan to be exact, was sitting at his parents' house and thinking, what if the Eagles make that trade for a player like A.J. Brown? A crazy caliber player that could change the trajectory of this franchise. And then they did. I look like a genius. I didn't even know it was going to happen, Jack. Sorry, buddy. Sorry, pal. But Jack just so happened that night on the podcast to be the bad cop. I was the good cop. I haven't let him hear the end of it. As soon as A.J. Brown came to Philadelphia, I said he would be up there with T.O. This was to show you guys this, for context, before I pull up the current stats. This was like midway throughout the season last year. So, as you guys can see, T.O. is a touchdown machine, and that theme is going to continue. But as far as yards goes and receptions, and obviously we know the NFL has changed a lot. But, I mean, A.J. Brown has got him. Okay, that's 43 games, big whoop, this, that. Let's check out through about 75 games for some sample size. And just comparing, I mean, that's where A.J. Brown really starts to take the step up for me. He has 379 receptions compared to Terrell Owens' 319. The yardage just takes a leap here, man. I think it was like maybe like a 200-yard, 300-yard gap before. This is nuts. This is like a 1,200-yard gap, man. So this is like after when we saw that tear last season. And he was 2 touchdowns behind T.O. Now he's made it a little bit more level. He's catching up slowly. But I think that just goes to show how good Terrell Owens was in his time. And then a staggering 15.7 yards per reception. So for me, Jack, hitting this all home, I'm going to go ahead and say Terrell Owens is my second greatest wide receiver of all time. My first is A.J. Brown. My third is Harold Carmichael. And my fourth is my guy, DeSean Jackson. It's no disrespect to G-Jax. It's just that's who I got. How about yourself, man?
Yeah, I mean, okay. Yeah, yards a little better. Yeah, yards per reception. But if you really look at it, T.O. has less yards through 76 games. Is that what we're looking at? Yeah. Has less receptions I'm talking about. Less receptions, but more touchdowns. So, that tells me T.O. was a guy that you could rely on in moments where you need him the most to get that touchdown you needed. Whereas A.J. Brown, 42 touchdowns, granted, one less. But, I mean, I think T.O. was utilized as more of that touchdown receiver, not really the long ball as A.J. Brown is now. It's kind of funny. They're both very similar players because they both are headaches to deal with. I mean, we saw T.O. doing push-ups on his front lawn or something like that, and then A.J. Brown bitching on the sideline because he wasn't getting the receptions. So they kind of have the same kind of personality. But you did forget that T.O. did play in the Super Bowl on a broken leg and had a great game. So whether or not we break A.J. Brown's leg, I'm not saying we do that. But I really think they're neck and neck. I'm not saying T.O. is – I will say this. I don't think A.J. Brown is better than T.O. I think they are on level playing grounds.
Okay.
Now,
so you're starting to get a little bit lukewarm to the idea. All right.
Yeah. So
I don't think anybody could say that after last year and what he did. I mean, that had to change your mind, right? Is that what sold you?
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, granted, last year was not the greatest sample size because Jalen Hurts didn't play the greatest. But I will say what a good sample size is his first year in Philly, A.J. Brown. That was probably the best sample size we could kind of rely on. But, I mean, hey, both really good receivers. I really don't have – hey, if they're scoring touchdowns and we're winning games, that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
I will say this, too. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just holding out because I don't want Dalton to be right again.
No. There it is. That's the friendship of like 15 plus years or something now. But in all seriousness, it's nice to be having this conversation. Like back to the Travis Fulgham days I talked about, and I did a full YouTube video on our page. So if you guys haven't, go check it out on YouTube right now. Drop a like on it, a comment. Let us know on that video who's your GOAT Eagles wide receiver of all time. But I kind of alluded to the fact that it got dark there for a while. Like it was not a good time for Eagles wide receivers. We didn't have somebody that was consistent. It felt like we just kept missing Jalen Reagor. Travis Fulgham was great, but that was the brightest spot of the team for a little bit. So the fact that they have somebody that they just went out and signed and he delivered makes it that much better. I think that the closest,
Could we agree? And I'll let you go on.
Yeah.
That Hank Basquet is the greatest Eagle of all time.
Yes, we can. We can definitely agree upon that. Wait, what was I saying before a second ago? Now you made me laugh.
A.J. Brown signing him, going out. We had struggles with the receivers before then, and having a breakout year.
I don't even remember. It was something about A.J. Brown, though, and just the Eagles. Oh, the best, I think, signing that the Eagles made before that, arguably, in my opinion, was Alshon Jeffrey. Because what that did for Carson Wentz that season, what that did for Nick Foles in the Super Bowl. Like, Alshon was a sure set of hands. But that was one season that we had that out of Alshon Jeffrey. It's like, oh, is it going to come back? Is it going to be consistent? Not saying Alshon Jeffrey was a bad player. I'm just saying that season was Alshon Jeffrey's season. A.J. Brown, his season is every season. It doesn't matter what team he's on. It doesn't matter who he's playing for, whose jersey. Whatever offense he's on, when the ball gets in his hands, and it's going to get in his hands, he's going to make something happen. So for me, I mean, I was on the A.J. Brown hype train. Obviously, I can't get off of it because I'm the damn conductor now, and I've been the conductor. Choo-choo! But this dude is on a tear. And the one thing I do want to see out of him production-wise, expectation-wise, get more touchdowns this year. Get more 2-touchdown games. I want to see at minimum three 2-touchdown games out of A.J. Brown. I think that that's more than possible. Even if he's getting double-teamed, give him the ball. I mean, he's going to find a way to get open and make it single coverage, and then he's going to win. So I could see definitely 3 2-touchdown games out of A.J. Brown. He's going to be in his prime this year. New contract, ready to roll, comfortable, loves it in Philadelphia. Talked about how he's comfortable with his kids going to school in Philadelphia. So I'm loving it.
I'm loving it.
But wrapping up now, guys, going into our final topic. Time for everybody's favorite part of the show, 302 Trivia with your host, Jack Dordan, the mayor of Delaware.
Thank you to TickPick. Like I said, buy your tickets through TickPick for Eagles and Phillies, please. Anyway, tonight's question we have for you is, who was the first Philadelphia Phillies player to have his number retired? Again, who was the first Philadelphia Phillies player to have his number retired? A, Steve Carlton. Again, leaderboard. Yeah, go bring it back up. Leaderboard, we're at. You're good. Keep leaderboard. There you go. So leaderboard we have right now is 5 for Fans, 4 for Matt, 6 for Tommy, 3 for Dalton. Hopefully he can change that. Josh has 0, Ash has 9, and Decker has 3. So with that being said, the question that we have is, who is the first Philadelphia Phillies player to have his number retired? A, Steve Carlton, B, Robin Roberts, C, Mike Schmidt, or D, Richie Ashburn. And tonight's answer for tonight's question is Robin Roberts.
Damn it. Who the hell named somebody Robin Roberts?
Anyway, Ashley got it correct. Tommy, I think he probably put in the chat, did he? Anyway, I think he got it correct. Dalton said Richie Ashburn. And there was no fans that answered. But yeah, like Dalton said, what a name is Robin Roberts. 2 first names. That's crazy. But with that being said, Ashley is now at 10. Dalton is still at 4. Tommy is at 7 or whatever it is. But yeah, that's all I got for you. Thank you for everyone who stayed on the show. Us breaking down the season for this upcoming season, and that's all I got. Anything else you want to say about?
I hope everybody enjoyed the schedule breakdown, like Jack said. And real quick before we wrap up, and I kick it to Jack to do the outro. I just want to tell you guys, if you aren't doing anything, come hang out. Me and Shard are going to be doing the Phillies post-game show right after this on the channel. So if you can, come hang out for that. Also, if you guys are on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give it a listen, drop a follow, please write a review. Little things like that mean the world. We seriously appreciate y'all. Somehow we got featured in an article for 4 most likable Eagles podcasts or something like that. So shout out to our girl, Jennifer McGraw. She is awesome. Firstandgen.com. If you guys don't check her out, she's a phenomenal Eagles writer. We love her what she does. So I want to thank her for that. But the boys and Ashley are making strides. So stay tuned for 302 Birds on the move. But go ahead, take it away, Jackson.
Yeah. Awesome feature that we had. I felt pretty happy after what we've been grinding, kind of showing for us. So that's good to get some representation about that. Anyway, without further ado, hey, Josh, it's an outro, not an intro. Hit that motherfucking outro.